oh, he's to be commended. Why didn't you commend him then? You needed a backup quarterback. Why didn't you sign him? Now you want us to give, man, you heard what Pete said about Cap? He said Cap is to be commended for what he was doing. He wasn't saying that then. So why are you saying it now? Because remember, it's the in vogue. Oh, you can't go wrong. Black Lives Matter. Justice for George. We need to end this systemic racism and institutional racism. You can't go wrong now. And Pete Carroll just jumped on the bandwagon. That's all he did, Skip Bayless. He ain't fooling nobody. No. Because when you had Cap right before you, you didn't talk about no football. You ain't talk about no X's and O's. You ain't say go draw up nothing on the board. And when you canceled a visit, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, when he wouldn't give you assurances that he wouldn't take a knee again.
True.
So now he's to be commended. You wasn't commended him when you had him in your office for a visit. You canceled his visit in 2018 when he wouldn't give you assurance he wouldn't take a knee. Now you want praise? Now you saying we should pat Cap on the back when you slammed the door in Cap's face? Man, miss me with this. Oh, no. He get no kudos. He gets nothing from Shannon.
So to your point, they did bring Colin Kaepernick to Seattle. As I recall, and I think you heard this from one of your sources, that he thought he was going to work out for the Seahawks.
Correct.
And nothing happened.
No.
He did not even suit up in practice gear to go out and throw the football,
he
correct?
Did not. Correct.
So what was it about then? Were they just sort of helping the league out by saying, we're going to have him in for a visit just to say, well, somebody did something, right?
Yes.
We tried. Then the NFL Network, and maybe you should take this with those grains of salt, they reported it was all about money, that they were, quote unquote, far apart on how much Colin was asking for that the Seahawks did not want to pay at that point.
Right.
Mike Florio, to his credit, on Pro Football Talk, shot that down and said, but for his sources, not about money at all.
They never talked about money.
No.
They never talked about football, anything related to football. It was about what Colin Kaepernick was doing, the protest, and that is what they talked about. So money never even came up.
So at that point, Pete Carroll did speak out about, look, Colin Kaepernick is a starter in this league, and he will be a starter in this league. I think he was trying to say, between the lines, we don't really need a starter here because we have a starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, who had been under fire because that locker room had decided that he was the quote-unquote pet of Pete Carroll and the coaching staff. And you know the flashpoint of the Seattle Seahawks, as we knew and loved them, the Legion of Boom, was that flashpoint moment of, do we hand it to beast mode or do we throw it? Right?
Correct.
And I think a lot of the players on the defensive side of the ball decided they wanted to make Russell the MVP of the Super Bowl. Let him throw it from the, was it the 1 yard line? Yeah, okay. And was that not the beginning of the end?
It was never going to be the same, Skip. But Skip, your team, as a matter of fact, signed as a backup a guy that was a starter, a guy that's good enough to start.
Oh, now.
Your team signed the guy.
True.
I thought that's what you...
In parts because we're not sure we're going to have our other guy.
Skip, I thought that's what you wanted. You would want a guy that's been a starter.
Oh, it's perfect. It's beautiful.
Gone to the Super Bowl. So if you get in these games like this, he's not in awe. He's been there, done that. I thought that's what teams wanted. They wanted experience at the backup quarterback position. But not this time.
Okay. But in that case, Russell Wilson was feeling some heat. And so Florio on Pro Football Talk, his final point was it that they didn't want to have an in-house option, like a real option, in case he started to struggle and all of a sudden the Boo Birds came out and said, well, wait a second, where are we headed here with Russell Wilson? This is back in 2017,
and remember, some of the guys, Michael Bennett, Sherm, wanted them to sign Cap.
Did they? Very outspoken about it.
Yes.
So if you sign Cap, and many of the defensive players are fans of him, and Russell does have an off game, what happens? All of a sudden, do you have some clashing in the locker room? Probably you do. So I think I don't know if it's Pete Carroll's decision. I don't know if it was the GMs or the owners. I don't know how high up it went. But for all the reasons you just detailed, they said thanks, but no thanks very quickly and didn't even let him go so far as to work out for them.
Correct.
Just to prove what he had been.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, we know to that point, he had thrown 72 touchdown passes in this league to only 30 interceptions. That's
pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. That sounds like better than a starting quarterback.
Yes.
That sounds like a quarterback who got the 49ers to 2 straight NFC championship games and won one of them and came within a controversial uncalled pass interference of winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right?